Okay, so we're here with the not so breaking news because it took 12 hours to charge my camcorder because it's malfunctioning. But there's going to be a general election on June the 8th. Now, I was going to do a video that was going to be May the 4th be with you because of the local elections on May the 4th, but it seems that the Conservatives have gone back on the whole fixed Parliament tax. That the whole point of that was so that it would be fair, because the party in power would obviously know that they were planning on doing a general election. They could prepare for it in advance, and also they could judge it based on public opinion. And I remember David Cameron saying how that it was not fair for parliaments to go, well, let's make a general election because we know we're going to win based on public opinion right now. And then, that perpetuated the whole point of not being in power for them. Yet they're going to abuse it for themselves because they know that the public opinion right now, apparently, on Labour is 55% to Conservatives to win, and, based on Brexit, because Brexit was also 55% we're going to remain, but no, that didn't happen. We actually left, we voted to leave, so, and going back onto Brexit, well, the Conservative Party, Bojo the Clown and others that were Conservative members were all, let's leave, let's do this, let's do that. And the Conservatives' current thing right now is, isn't Labour Party so divided, apparently? But yet the Conservatives back then were so divided over Brexit, and David Cameron wanted to remain vigilantly, so much so that he actually left because we voted Brexit. And yes, it's not really a party as unilateral as she would like to claim, especially as her whole point is apparently that Westminster is in danger of, screwing up Brexit because they're so divided that they have to call this general election just to sort that out. And then that doesn't really make sense, does it? Because, if the Conservative Party is so unilaterally behind Brexit and all of this, then what does it matter? Yet, what did she actually do in all these months where it's, I can't tell you anything because it will ruin our negotiating position if I was to reveal what we did? Did you actually do anything? No. Have you arranged anything? No. Did you talk about anything for all those months leading up to it? And then it's like, oh, well, now we can actually start talking about it. And what have you done in those months since you've started talking about it? Well, you've decided that rather than saving money through Brexit, you're going to pay a huge leaving fee for leaving the EU. And are you doing any of the other points that were voted on the referendum as the Leave campaign? No. Is anything on the Leave campaign true? No. What are you going to deliver on Brexit? Bollocks and lies and twisting things? And isn't she going to be the party power behind the working class and the struggling and the just about managing? Is she bollocks? Is she fucking them over? Yes. Is she screwing over disabled people and the people in need? Yes. Is Jeremy Corbyn going to raise the living wage to £10 an hour? Apparently so. Are the Conservatives going to do that? No. Are they going to cut taxes for the rich? And then screw over the poor even more? I mean, that certainly seems like what she does it not? And, is that the way of helping the poor people by screwing them over so that, blame the job seekers who are looking for work and cannot find work because of the 0-hour contract problem of the nation? Is Jeremy Corbyn going to do something about the 0-hour contract? Yes, he is. Are the Conservatives? I don't think so. No. They're just blame the job seeker, blame the poor person, blame the person who, even though it's the big businesses and the employers that are screwing over the people because they want as many small people as possible, to do 4 to 8 hours a week, if they're lucky, on 0-hour contracts, like Deliveroo. So they get no paid annual leave and no nothing, no guarantees of even getting work. So when you need X amount of hours to live to pay your bills, for me, 30 hours, on the £10 an hour living wage, maybe that goes to 20 to 22 hours a week. Maybe that makes it more likely to get a job. But, all these companies that want to fuck you over, Now, the Genting casino, they actually do fixed contracts in different forms. Like there's an 8-hour, there's a 16-hour, there's a 24, there's a 32, there's a 40, and then there's 48-hour contracts. So they have a wide range of contracts for the differing positions. Now, that would actually work if that was unilaterally put across the entire country. Now, there's just one job interview that I went on where they're like, well, these are our range of contracts. And it's like, unfortunately, I was unsuccessful in getting the position because it's been so long since I've done work, because I was fucked over by the government by illegally withholding my benefits for 9 months, and then I was made homeless for 6 years. But, yeah, I'm trying to put my life back together. It's just kind of hard when they're like, well, your recent experience isn't enough. And it's like, well, I need the hours to pay the bills to keep a roof over my head, and it's kind of difficult under the current government. But I'm trying my best, and I need the hours. But yeah, it's just not right. Yeah, you need to obliterate 0-hour contracts. We need to also not only make the living wage for over 25s, you need to make it unilateral, so that it starts at 18 would be ideal, because then it's a fair system for everyone. And get rid of apprenticeships. Yes, they're making them so that if the company earns over 3 million per year, they have to pay fees, but then these fees are offset by skills and training that they can offer to their employees. But the fact is that apprenticeships are less than half the basic minimum wage, so it's about £4, if that. And so, then there's the 18 to 21 wage, which is less than the 21 to 25, which is less than the living wage above 25. So obviously, businesses that are trying to save as much money as possible, they will hire the younger people and the cheaper people just to fill the positions, and they will hire as many of them as possible as disposable people, because they don't want loyal staff who are good and experienced. They want to save as much money as possible. In most instances, I'm not saying in every instance, because there are companies that do appreciate the experience, but then when you've been fucked over, you're struggling. When there's a big gap in your thing, then it's not ideal. But hey-ho. The government, it took fucking forever to fucking rehome me. Screwed me over big time, so yeah. But still, the Labour Party under Jeremy Corbyn are going to do what is right. They're going to make sure that you get the good laws kept in, that the poorer people, the working people, and everyone is happy, and the right laws are kept in, and, the right balance. For example, the poor people, or the rich people, they're not going to go, well, who needs the taxes cut? Oh, the rich people, let's make them even richer. Well, we still need the money. What are we going to do with the poor? Oh, let's fuck the poor people over and just increase the taxes on them so they've got even less money and increase the divide. That's not the way you do it. What you need to do is balance the divide a bit better so that things will work out. And what happens then when you create more jobs through getting rid of 0-hour contracts and through stopping people signing out of the Working Time Directive? Because the people that sign out of the Working Time Directive, some of them do 70 hours a week, some of them do more. And if you reduce because of all the other things that I've mentioned, but not in this video, if you reduce the maximum working wage to 35 hours a week, which is what it is in continental Europe in some places, then you create more jobs. That's one part-time job or, 2 full-time jobs to every one that you've cut. That creates a lot more positions, and if you get rid of 0-hour contracts and stop them spreading them over to a lot of part-time jobs that people really, really can't live off, then you create more stability, and with a more stable job market and more people working through the more positions that you've created, the confidence in spending in the country increases, and that creates more demand for jobs, and then there are more people getting jobs, and then they too have more money to spend, and then that creates a less burden on the tax, because more people are getting taxed through their income, and they're not paying a drain through the job seekers, because they've got the jobs that you've now guaranteed for them through the right balance of the working time, if you get the drift. and it's not hard to do, but the Conservatives just want to go, oh, well, let's just fuck them over even more, and then fuck them, and then fuck them more, and then they'll be forced to do something because we've fucked them so hard that they're going to die. And if they don't die, well, if they do die, then, you know, they're not a burden on the society anymore. Oh, well, let's smoke our $10 million cigars and eat our caviar and just not give a shit, because she doesn't, and claims to be for the good of all the working people and all the poorer people. But is she fuck? Look at everything they've done. They've lied about everything they've done. And you think that voting for them will fix the country? Look at the past several years. Look at when they first came in. Look at how everything went downhill when the Conservatives came in. Look at how many people have had their benefits illegally delayed, illegally withheld, how many applications are ridiculously illegally delayed, lost, just ignored. Yes, there's a huge pandemic of this since the Conservatives got in. Not just you and me. I did the research. Look at all the other videos I did before for the research that I did that proved it. And yes, it is a pandemic. And do they keep saying, oh, look how we must be improving the country? And then it's all lies. It's all lies. Because I heard on one of the things that apparently they were working with the banks to control the rates so that it would look like they were doing the good for the country when really they weren't. And I really should have kept hold of that paper just to show you that, but it was in the Metro at some point. And yeah, they were working with the banks to fix it so that it looked like they were helping the country when really they're not. They're just, you know, screwing with the balance so that it looks like it is helping the country when really it isn't. We're still a country in a huge debt, and we're going to be in bigger debt through Brexit because we're going to pay Europe to leave rather than getting the money in to pay for, as they said, oh, we'll be saving this much to spend on the NHS. And yes, none of it's going to the NHS. Are we going to save any money? No, we're going to pay even more on top of the bill that we already owe to Europe. And there's going to be a huge Brexit fee. And then what's going to happen with immigration? Nothing. They're going to claim that they're going to help with the immigration rates, but are they actually going to do anything about it? No. And all these people that thought that they were going to get rid of the people already here, well, they're not. They're going to be staying in the country. They're going to be still doing all the jobs. And yes, so no, you didn't get that aspect of Brexit either. What other aspects of Brexit were in the Leave campaign? I don't know, but they lied about all of the campaigns. I know that they've not fulfilled any of the criteria for the Leave campaign, and that anything that they have done has gone wrong, you know, and they still, you still believe that they're going to help the country. You still believe anything that they say when they lie about everything constantly. They lie about the Fixed Term Parliaments Act, but when it suits them, oh, let's trigger a general election right now. And it's like, well, no, the whole point of that was so that you can't do it when it suits you. You can't do it short notice so that the other party don't have time to prepare, just because you're going to capitalise on them not being very popular right now. And then you're going to say, oh, well, aren't they so divided as a party? And that your party is so divided and screwing up over Brexit because they're not following your campaign, so you're going to hold a general election to kick them in line. Yet you're still not going to do anything for the good of the country. And Jeremy Corbyn would. The Labour Party would. Only under Jeremy Corbyn, though. If they replaced Corbyn, the Labour Party, not necessarily, but Corbyn is good for the working people, for the poorer people, and for businesses, because by helping the working people and the poorer people, it is good for businesses, it is good for the economy in general, it is good for the whole country. And if his party get in line behind him, which they will, if he gets elected as Labour leader, if he gets elected as leader of the country, they will fall behind him. They will actually start to listen to him. And so, if you believe in the good of the country, you would be right to vote Labour on June the 8th. Local elections, you know, maybe vote for Labour if you want. Vote for whoever you will. It might be best to vote for Labour because it will show in the upcoming elections that you're going to vote for Labour. And then the national papers that are all Conservative pro might actually start to believe and worry and post about it. But you should definitely vote for Corbyn. The Labour Party should not do anything to stop him. They should fall behind him now more than ever, and so should you, because it's for the good of the country. And this is probably the last opportunity we've got before things get really fucked. Because if you vote for the Conservatives now, or even voting for any other party, which would essentially be handing... Well, no, not necessarily. You need to really look at who is in power in your section. It might be best to vote for the Labour Party, but on the twist, if it's a Conservative held place and somewhere was a mile ahead in the last elections than the Labour Party, it would be best to vote for whoever the second seat was. So if the Labour Party is going to win, or if the Labour Party is the second seat, vote for them, clearly. But tactically, if you vote for whoever was second, if the Labour Party's got no chance in that electorate, it takes a seat from the Conservatives. And by doing that, you take all the seats from them, and the Labour Party can get more seats, and the Labour Party can get in governments. Keeping the Conservatives out of government is the better thing, because then the Labour Party has a good chance of either getting in by landslide or by coalition. And the coalition may work well for the country under Corbyn and someone else. Because if you want the checks and balances, a coalition, not with the Conservatives, but of the Labour Party and maybe some other party, I'm not going to say maybe Lib Dem, maybe Green, maybe even UKIP, but still, anyone but the Conservatives would work well for the country and maybe have the balance that people want. But the Conservatives alone will fuck the country. They already lie about everything. They don't stick to anything they claim. Do you really believe that they can be trusted with Brexit? With what they've been doing? How they've got rid of the Human Rights Act? How they've just screwed up everything so far? No, they do not. And don't believe they brought in the living wage either, because that was a Europe referendum. That was a Europa Act. They told them, you need to bring this in. They told them even, you need to do more than this. And that is a fact. So, they weren't even doing enough. They were dragging their heels. They were doing the bare minimum. And if they will claim that that's so right for them, because they did it, it's not. They were forced into it by Europa. But now that we're leaving Europe, you know, Europa no longer can force them to do things like increase the living wage, because they're saying, hey, you're not doing enough to help the poorer people. You need to increase the living wage so that more people and more families have enough to live off. Corbyn will do that without Europa. Corbyn is doing that by a significant amount, because from £7.50-ish to £10 is a big step. That's like a 25% rise in the basic wages. And if he does it for everyone from 18 plus, then that would be exceptional, because it would be even bigger than 25% for them and make a fairer jobs market so that everyone's on a standard wage. You know, I can't necessarily say that they'll get rid of apprenticeships, but maybe the steps to fine companies that are having 3 million plus to make them use it less, so that there are more positions for the regular worker rather than just cheap half price positions for apprenticeships that, you know, aren't necessarily even going to learn anything or get anything out of it, and maybe disposable at the end of the year, so they can just open it up for another apprenticeship. Who's to say? But a £10 per hour wage is better, because it means that rather than needing 30 hours to pay the bills per week, it's 20 to 22. And then, you know, that makes it easier to get a job. And then once you're getting a decent wage, you know, if you're on 48 hours a week, that's a lot of extra money. And, you know, more taxes for the country through income. But still, you know, you're not going to care that you're getting taxed out of it when you're getting such a big increase, because you're still getting more money at the end of the day. And, you know, more money is better, and more people being able to take jobs with less hours is better for the country, because that also helps with, you know, kickstarting the economy. And then as more people are able to take the jobs and get jobs, they have more disposable income, which leads to more leisure spending, which leads to more leisure job positions, which leads to even more, you know. It's a kickstart that grows exponentially, and it's easy to do. It's not hard to do. Yeah, the Conservatives can't do it. The Conservatives won't do it. That is the point. And that is why you should vote Labour on June 8th. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.